morning, everyone. Welcome to the Hoopsters League of Action Hero presents the My School is Best contest. Today we have with us Dr. Manjula Raman. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us. She is the CEO of Academics and Innovation at Royale Concorde International Schools Group. Ma'am, I know that you have a lot on your plate right now, considering all the online classes, the kids juggling around. So really thank you for joining us today. The idea of today's conversation is to talk about an initiative that Hoopsters has started. It's called the My School is Best initiative. Here we are looking at schools that we believe are the change makers. They are the ones who are encouraging kids to pursue a social initiative or encouraging them to see the different things that are happening in the world and take action towards it. That is the whole idea, to inspire more children, probably give more ideas to your peers, and just create goodwill in the community, saying, our schools are bringing out such amazing individuals into the community. That is the whole idea. So my first question to you, ma'am, would be, what are some initiatives that your school has taken that you're really, really proud of?
Well, I'm very proud of my children doing the Mission Pani. That's the latest, so I remember it first. Right. So Mission Pani, Nupur, what happens is that most schools will take on initiatives, but after a while, once the shoots are over, they are on the paper, there's excitement, wades off, then it stops. But in our school, what we have done is we take few initiatives, but then it is a year-long process. Right. So when it is Mission Pani, it is not only of auditing the use of water in and around the school. Now the kids have not been with us for almost 9 months, but the teachers, the IMAs, the ministerial staff, all of us, we see to it that the water is not wasted. And there is a recycling of water that we use for washing hands to water the plants. And the same thing goes with the children who are living in their houses. So what they do is that, again, in their own societies, in and around that, and most of the time we see, like now we have all the roads dug out, and there is a lot of water wastage. Sometimes it's the sewage water, sometimes it's the Kaveri water. So they just need one small initiative, is to call up the BBMP and tell them that there is a leak here, and that's enough. And then it's winter now, so unnecessarily opening the tap and watering the plants, though it's dusty, recycling the washed water of vegetables, and collecting it and watering the plants in their own house. Because usually what happens is we've got so used to the water, in a tap, that we wash everything and then just waste out that water. So that's one of the things. The second is each one, care one. That is, we don't want to do something very huge that, our children are going to a village, and every child from 6th onwards, what they do is that in and around their place, maybe their own maid's child or the family, they are teaching them about sanitation, about the, how to take care of themselves during Corona. Also about nutrition, about how they can build their immunity. So one child does it to one person. And if it is a family of 5, then, it's got a cascading effect. Right. So this is the second one, which I'm very proud of. Third is the school wishes to give lung space to Bangalore. So in front of all our schools, we are going in with some greening mission. We are planting trees and, watering it, taking care of it. And that space, at least in front of schools, will be the lung space, the oxygen centers of Bangalore. Right. So these are 3 things which are new that we are doing, and we are very proud of.
Right. Why are initiatives like this very important for children and parents and schools?
See, what's lacking in our Indian education system is, one is that we have all lived in the democracy for too long, and we've taken it for granted. So citizenship is one thing which is not really taught aggressively in schools. So, we keep our house clean, we keep ourselves clean and our societies clean, but we don't do anything for the country or, the city that we live in. So citizenship is very important. The child has to know that it's my country, and it doesn't matter where I live. Even if I'm walking along, if I see paper or some, dust or this thing, just do your little bit in that. If there's a child who's crying for food, just share your tiffin with that child. So it is citizenship, I think, is the first thing. Second is, in a world of make-believes and getting every need of yours gratified, empathy is something which is missing out in our lives. And when we do these things, we realize how lucky we are to be in the state that we are, in whichever state we are. State means, the luxuries or whatever we have, and we compare ourselves to people who don't even have a coat to put around themselves or a bedsheet to sleep on. And children, they learn that, they understand this world is of unequals, and their little initiative will bring that gap closer.
Okay, that's something that even Hoopsters talks about, basically community ownership, where children
Absolutely.
are able to say, okay, this is my community and I need to do something for them.
Absolutely.
Can you think of any anecdote or one particular incident where you saw that the initiative that you've taken has actually impacted a child to go ahead and do something on their own? Do you have any such instance that you can share with us?
Sorry, yeah. Can you complete? I think
yeah. So my question to you is, now that you've taken these initiatives, can you think of any one particular incident with a student of your school where you've seen that they have actually gone and done something on their own, and this is because of the initiatives your school has taken?
Yes, we have plenty of children like that. We have children who have gone out of school. I mean, they've passed out of school, and to our utter disbelief and we feel our pride. We find these children doing a lot of things beyond their college time. Like, for example, we have children who are attending college and in the evening teaching other children, because they were part of the Rotary Teach One, each one teach one. So, they understand that they need to help a poor child in math, science to, maybe clear the NEET or clear the JEE. So when they are in college, they're doing that. And now that all of us are into the bandwagon of online learning, it becomes so much easier. Your reach is larger. Then we have seen children who have, from their pocket money, shared some goodies with their maids' children. Nobody told them to do that. Right. They've kept their books, their storybooks, their clothes very well so that they can pass it on to these kids. They have refused presents for Christmas or their birthday and used that money in an orphanage or to take care of an old person, or even, going out of their way to bring happiness for one day. I've had children who visit these old age homes and sing for them and dance for them, spend the day with them and come back. And all this is not the initiative of the school that we said on so and so date we are going there. They've been doing themselves, and they're very shy to tell us that they're doing this because they don't think it's for any kind of publicity. It's because they feel good about it, and that's where I feel the changes come about.
Right, absolutely. That's the whole idea, isn't it? To motivate children and then tell them, you can also do your bit.
Absolutely.
Now that we are speaking about the online classes and you've actually moved into this space, what is one big lesson that you have learned as an educator or as a school? Because this was so sudden, it just happened overnight. So what was one very valuable lesson that you learned, be it in the teaching methods or be it in something that you would like to teach your children, something extra? What is that one thing?
I think it is to be future ready. We have used this tag a lot of times, be future ready, but we've gone blah, 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 blah with many things. But actually, were we future ready? No. And second is that change is the constant. That we have to be ready for the change. And I think as an educator, me and all educators in the world understood one thing, is that if you have the will to change and you have the will to put in your best in the worst of circumstances, you are a winner. because when the pandemic started, we did not know that it will take so long. We thought maybe it'll be for 2 months, or it was a China issue, not an Indian issue, or not a world issue, and it'll go. So when we heard about Wuhan, we had a lot of empathy and sympathized with all the people there. But we didn't think that there would come a day when we'll have a lockdown. There would come a day when we will hear of all the deaths that's happening in our own country or our neighborhood. So change is one thing that all of us have to be ready for. And we do not know what is going to change. So it's the mindset. It's the mindset to have the tenacity to face any situation that may come about and do it, as a winner. That means you want to win that situation, whatever it may be. And for that, you have to sometimes work very hard. We are still learning so many things in online education, and it's amazing how well we are all trained in our own trade, because there was nobody else to help you. You were doing it from home, so your kids didn't have time. Your husband was busy with his own job, so you have to learn the ropes or learn from somebody and do it. And that's what helped us all. So it is a self-help kind of a thing. It is upskilling, which many of us as teachers had not done it for ages. Maybe we went for some orientation programs or something, but we actually didn't upskill ourselves. Now we are upskilled.
Right. Absolutely. And talking about future ready. Okay, now one thing that really happened is the job market changed completely. When people lost their jobs, suddenly people were sitting at home, they didn't know what was happening. And we don't know if something like this may happen in the future, may not happen. So what can we do to make our children, as you said, future ready?
Yeah. What went wrong is that our education system was training on, very narrow subjects. Like if it was an engineer, he would be only trained to be an engineer. He wouldn't be trained to be an artist, or he wouldn't be trained to be a plumber, perhaps. Because it was looked down upon that if you are an engineer, you cannot take on something like a trade job, like an electrician or a plumbing or that. And if you see, the people who are doing well now are the carpenters, the interior designers, the plumbers, the electricians, the people who could put gadgets together and make a home office. So I would think, to be future ready, a child should not only specialize in whatever is his interest, but have a lot of things which are his hobbies, and also upgrade himself in that, so that at any point in time, he wants to become an entrepreneur on his hobby. It gives him a way of life.
Right. So extracurriculars probably play a big role in doing this, the extracurricular activities that we have. Has the online format allowed you to continue with extracurriculars? Do you have that space?
Yes. There were two things: that too much of theory and lessons and classes which were academic in nature was bringing in a lot of fatigue to the children. So we brought in yoga, we brought in music, we brought in dance, we brought in storytelling, we brought in magic, all kinds of things. And it was good because the children looked forward to that. And I'm glad that, there were lots of things also available on media, like the cult filled programs, which came free at the beginning of the pandemic, where you could dance and do your exercises. There are a lot of music programs on YouTube that you can, subscribe to. So I think because we are all on technology, it's made it so much more simpler. Not only the school pursue their hobbies. I have a parent because he's actually concentrating a lot on chess, because chess has come in a big way online. Right. And lots of kids are taking on this chess Grand Prix and a whole lot of things. And the prize money is quite a lot. So right. Children are getting on to that. So even gaming has become the new, I think, the craze among kids. And that's a good thing, because chess is something which we had to drive in school. because somehow it was looked at something which is a nerdy kind of a game. So now that children have found interest in it, it is good. It's good.
Once we actually go back to the physical classroom, hopefully that will be soon. Hopefully that will be soon. How can we change the way we teach extracurriculars to actually help make children make them job ready or make them prepared for the future? What changes can we bring in?
First of all, I think we should get rid of this word called extracurricular. So
Right.
anything that is done in a school life, when I said school life, not necessarily the school, I mean from age 3 to 18, should be, everything is curricular. It builds them to their future. It builds them to the life of work. So when the schools open, I believe that it will be a hybrid kind of a system. It may not be the old way of just coming to class, sitting there and the teacher teaching and having some classes of dance or music or art. It would be hybrid, where the children would also have themselves into a lot of online classes that they would have got themselves enrolled to. And it would be very important that schools have activities which help the children in their future work life. And how can that be done? We're seeing a lot of lovely things coming up. One is, the Maker's Corner. That means children are given anything, broken machines, small nuts and bolts, and scraps of metal or whatever, and ask them to come about with an idea. So if we start this ideation right from, I think, the primary level, we don't have to wait till the 10th or something. The children get on to that. See, the difference between the present generation and us is that when we were small, we saw our parents actually fixing the washing machine or the iron box or the switches in the house. And we looked at them and learned. Even a very simple thing is the handle of the cooker, which gets, so we had a screwdriver and, it was done. We didn't take it to a shop to get it to the thing. If the gasket was not working, we knew that it needs a change of gasket. But today, we just dump it. We said, oh, my cooker is not working. Nobody gives it a thought of how you can reuse and reutilize. And in some ways, we have to think of that. I think the whole world is thinking of this, that, how to reuse so that the waste is less. That you can use everything in your house or your clothes or anything and reuse it again. And you just have to think creatively. And there are umpteen things on YouTube which tells us how to recycle your jeans or recycle your pots and pan or recycle even your commodes, make it into a beautiful garden space. Right. So, we have to teach children that, to come up with innovative ideas. Second is that, small little exposures to the children into the world of art appreciation, into archaeology, into food processing, into food growing. Nowadays you have hydro plants which grow in water. So there are so many things. So every class, the school could actually consciously think that we are going to expose this child to this activity, which may later become his work. He can become an entrepreneur on that. Unfortunately, we are only thinking of coding, and everybody's talking about coding. What is a world going to be with only programmers? It will be a world of only, I would say, the robots. The human thing will go. And today, when we are talking about Atmanirbhar or Indian being go vocal about local, just think the beautiful pottery, the beautiful chinaware, the beautiful jewelry, the beautiful textiles that our villages have been doing it, and it's not come to the urban life of the kids at all. If you ask a kid, have you seen a brinjal growing? They haven't. They've just seen it in the supermarket. They haven't seen it, they've only seen it. But I'm glad that people are now taking an interest into growing food, their own food, sharing it with others. So I think every class, we have to have activities which will lead them to a world of work.
Right. Keeping in whatever you have said, there's something that came about, which you started talking about, was the National Education Policy 2020. Can you tell us something? Tell us what your views are on that. They're talking about vocational training. They're talking about bringing in art into school and everything. What are your thoughts on that?
One is that it is a good step forward. What worries me is how is it going to be translated in the schools? Because it's all very fine, discussing. And if you see, we are talking about nepotism in other fields, but we have it in education too. It'll be a group of people talking about the same thing and, not reaching it out to the general educators or the general educational needs of the country. So it is a very, I would say, futuristic kind of policy that the country has come about. Since many of us who had exposures to world education, all this was done in our schools. There's nothing new that we are, it's got new names and, all those numeracy and literacy. All this has been happening in England and across the, the European world for a long time. And it has been happening in Indian context too. The basic education, Gandhi's basic education, this was somewhere around the 60s, which was there in all schools, in government schools. Of course, the elitist ones thought we shouldn't call it basic education and called it SUPW, socially useful productive work. Right. So, but most of the time nothing was done. It was most unproductive, because many of the schools never realized that this is the time that you could have thought about the maker's lab, that out of the box thinking. But no, it was just given to a teacher who was free during that time, and some artwork with making candles or cutting some paper, which I have seen it from the time I was born till today. It hasn't changed, and that was being done. But what was socially useful productive work? It was thinking of a futuristic. And today the education policy is talking about those things only. It's just the same things which have found to be useful in the education sector that they've collected from across the world and brought it to India. Good thing. I mean, I would always believe that instead of, constructing the wheel again, take the best practices from the world. But it is not an original thing. These all things have been done by people who brought in good practices from other places. And I've seen many of these things happening in villages and not in our so-called public schools.
Right. That is true.
They are the most, the changes to come in the elitist schools, because they have access to everything, but they're doing nothing. Yes. What is happening is that they're not able to be grounded and realize their potentials around their place. So there's such a huge divide between the have-nots and have. The have-nots have all the skills. They're able. You go to the pottery town. There is a school there next to the pottery town, and just see the kids doing so many beautiful things. And most of the kids are drug addicts because they come from that background, but they're so brilliant in mathematics. They're so brilliant in life skills. And I mean, it's amazing. But then they're not getting the best.
Yeah.
They're not getting the best mentors, I would think.
Right. Ma'am, Hoopsters and Royal Concorde, we've had a long relationship. Since the time we were a magazine, we have been involved with your school and you've supported us a lot. And now you know that we're moving to the online platform. We're doing so many new different things. My question to you is, how do you think that whether the policy is implemented or not, how can Hoopsters be helpful to schools?
I think the activities, the webinars that you are having now are very, very, some of them are targeted for the parents, some of them are targeted to the teachers, some of them to the students. And I think this is the best thing, because you are also reinventing yourself.
Right.
And you're coming up with new things every time. So I think to keep the pace going at the same rate, I think of new things that excite students. and they definitely would love it. And you know, if the Hoopster becomes an interactive magazine, where Hoopla, and where, you know, they have a group, or there are occasional get-togethers, that you have had that. But if it is more often, I think it helps children to be in touch with children who think alike.
Yes, that is the plan. That is the plan, which is why we have all our contests, and so children can see, oh, my friend is doing this, my friend is doing that. That is the whole idea. Ma'am, this is my last question to you. I won't take too much of your time. The last question is, in a few words, can you tell us why your school is the best?
Okay, my school is the best because me, as the head of academics, I have the total academic freedom. I'm able to think, vision, have a vision, and also I get a chance to actually translate what I think is good for the kids. Basically, a school is for the kids. I think they are the first important stakeholders. And the second is my teachers and my heads of schools. So the best thing about us is that we all work together for the betterment of our kids.
That's lovely, ma'am. Thank you so much. What I would really request you to do is, you spoke about all your Mission Pani and all of that. Please send it to us. We'd like to put it up on our website so
Sure.
other schools can see and get inspired by what you're doing. And also tell your students about the contest that we're having. We have the Super Hooper contest, again celebrating kids who are doing their own bit for the community, and super moms and dads.
Oh, wow.
Just talking about parents who have taken initiatives, parents who are balancing hobbies and their life as a parent, or parents who faced the odds to bring their children up. These are the kind of parents stories we're looking for.
We'll definitely share it.
Yes, please share it with your children. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming online today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Thank you.